Today's relaxed selection is Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Songwriter Fred Rose wrote this in 1945, and it was recorded by Roy Acuff. 30 years later, though, Willie Nelson used it to launch his vocal career. Up till that point, he'd been known as a songwriter for other people's music, but not really for that sweet, mellow, timbered voice that he's so famous for today. And of course, he followed that up with the Stardust CD, which is one of my personal favorites. Here's 1945's Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Well, I forgot to mention in the background the number of artists who have covered this song, and among them, Hank Williams, Gene Vincent, remember him, Bebopalula, and Elvis Presley. And Elvis Presley, this is said to be the last song he ever accompanied himself on at Graceland. Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain was a favorite of his. Okay, it's a 4-chord song, and then the important thing is after I show you the 4 chords, we'll start working on the connectors that bridge the chords together and make the song flow. You need an open E. You need an open A. You need a B bar chord. And you need a B7. Those are the only 4 chords you need. Everything else is connecting them together. All right, let's talk about the simple strumming pattern, but also the sort of the pattern of playing the bass note along with the chords. When you're strumming the E chord, you alternately pick the open E string and the B note of the E chord on the A string. In fact, the song starts like this. Kind of a hammer on the B note. When you're playing the B chord, you're alternating between the B note and the F sharp note on the 6th string. Between the A note, well, the open 5th and the open 6th strings. The other one, the only other one, is the B7. And for the B7, you need to There's the simple strumming along with the corresponding sort of bass line to help you play through that. Okay, well next let's tackle the connecting notes. So from the E chord to the B chord, all that is an A, a B flat, and then the B note of the B chord. So that's one connector. The connector from the E to the A, so it goes from E. It's F, F sharp, leave out the G, A flat, and then the A chord. So once again, and then the last connector is from E. And that's B, A flat, F sharp, E. So again, just to review those little connectors. last one. All right, I mentioned that little bit of a hammer on the intro, so let's just take a look at that. So he just plays that twice. So it's a hammer onto that B note. You can actually hit both the 5th and 4th strings with that. So you're like this. And then you switch to. As soon as you've played that intro twice, you're going to switch to the E-B picking arrangement. So again. In the twilight glow I see her, blue eyes crying in the rain. Okay, so that is the intro. Let's now do a playthrough of everything up to the guitar solo. And we'll put the chords on the screen and follow through with all the correct runs. Here we go. In the twilight glow I see her, blue eyes crying in the rain. When we kiss goodbye and parted, knew we'd never meet again. Love is like a dying ember, only memories remain. Through the ages I'll remember, blue eyes crying in the rain. Okay, well, let's tackle this guitar solo, and I think we'll break it into chunks. So we'll do the first chunk, second chunk, third chunk. First piece is like this. Okay, you're going to start with your 2nd and 3rd fingers on the 9th fret of the 4th and 3rd strings. And we're going to go from there to with our index finger to the 7th fret of the 2nd string, and then the 9th fret with our 3rd finger of the 2nd string. So 4th and 3rd strings, and then a bend, just a bend up on the 9th and back down to the 9th fret. So we go back down to the 4th and 3rd strings at the 9th fret, bend a second time, and then down with our index finger to the 5th fret. So putting that first piece together again. Then we're going to put our 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the 2nd string, our 1st finger on the 7th fret of the 1st string, and we're going to slide down like that. So we end up at 5 and 7. We start at 7 and 9, go to 6 and 8, end up at 5 and 7. The picking is like this. Okay, so again, and then we're going to slide back up and play 9 and 7 of the 2nd string. Then we're going to go 9 on the 4th string, 10 on the 2nd string, 7 on the 1st string, 9 on the 2nd string. So that bit. Let's see if we can put that whole first chunk together. Okay, the second part of the second chunk is just based around the melody again, and as long as you kind of pick around the melody here, it really doesn't matter. As long as you don't hit a sour note, you know, Willie Nelson is going to play this a little bit differently every time too. Here's the second one, and it's got just a little bit of a different feel. Well, all that's left is this little progression down leading back into the A chord and the third verse. And it's played using a chord with emphasis on certain notes. And the notes that are emphasized are the note you left off at the end of the guitar solo, which is the 9th fret of the 3rd string, and the 8th fret of the low E string. Those are the notes that are emphasized. And the chord that's actually being played there that fills in between those notes is played like this. Imagine playing a D7 chord, a simple D7 triangle chord down there. Move that up so that your first finger is on the 7th fret of the 5th string, and then form that little D7 on the 6, 5, and 4 strings. Take your pinky finger and put it on the 9th fret of the 3rd string, and that's the note where you left off at the end of the guitar solo. So that chord sounds like that, and what he just does at the end of the guitar solo is picks down through it, kind of like this. Someday when we meet up yonder. And that's how we get from the end of the guitar solo back down to the A for the someday when we meet up yonder part. Blue eyes crying in the rain. When we kiss goodbye and parting, do we never meet again? Love is like a dying ember. Only memories remain. Through the ages I'll remember. Blue eyes crying in the rain. Someday when we meet up yonder, we'll stroll hand in hand again in the land that knows no parting. Blue eyes crying in the rain. Blue eyes crying in the rain. All right, fine tuning today. One quick note on the ending there. All I did there was, and that's just going from an E chord to an E sus. Just flatten out your fingers there across the 2nd fret. Just gives you a little ending, and that is the way that song ends. Okay, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain is a simple song. It doesn't get much simpler than that. And that's the beauty of the song, is its simplicity. a nice, simple, warm storytelling vocal style. And so enjoy playing this. Work on the guitar solo, make it your own. Just be sure to follow the melody in the guitar solo. Okay, Willie Nelson, 1973's remake of Blue Eyes, Crying in the Rain. We'll see you next time on Song Nectar.